Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you all my UA Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile for March 2019. I've always wanted to test my hands on the UA deck. It's a deck that was introduced during the Arc V booster packs, starting off in the new Challengers pack and getting support all throughout those ones. Eventually getting other decks that were pretty similar to the UAs, including FAs. And if we're going to get any other ones, or maybe even more support down the road for these decks, I wanted to see just what I could do in my hands with the deck currently in the format. It's a really fun deck. Definitely do give it a shot if you're looking for something kind of, budget friendly for sure. There's not really any foils in the UA deck. So let's go ahead and get started for the deck profile. So to start off, I run 3 UA midfielder. Now the whole point of the UAs are to just really quickly get out the different UA monsters and then use all of their different effects depending on which ones you summon out. You can special summon this card from your hand by returning 1 UA monster you control to the hand except UA midfielder. You can only special summon UA midfielder once per turn this way, and during either player's turn you can target one other UA monster you control, return that face-up monster to the hand, then special summon 1 UA monster from your hand with a different name from that monster. You can only use the effect of midfielder once per turn. So midfielder is definitely one of your main monsters you want to go for all your different plays, since it's a level 4 and all the other UAs have pretty high levels, making it a little more difficult to summon them out. But with midfielder you have easy access, since you can just quickly get midfielder out on the field and then special summon them by having the return effect that they all share as well for the special summon. So definite 3 of. The fact that it's also searchable with cards like Reinforcements of the Army just makes it all the better to run this card in the deck for that possibility. For the other ones, I also run 3 UA Perfect Ace. You can special summon this card from your hand by returning 1 UA monster you control to the hand except Perfect Ace. This theme will follow suit with all the UA monsters. You can only special summon Perfect Ace once per turn this way, and once per turn during your opponent's turn. When a card or effect is activated, you can discard 1 card, negate the activation. If you do, destroy it. This is a quick effect, so you have that negation, which getting Perfect Ace out on the field just as a more defensive kind of play for sure. If you go with some of the other UAs for attacking your opponent, then returning them to summon Perfect Ace in defense with 2500 defense, pretty big wall to get over, and just that negation. If you return some of the other UAs to your hand, you should have cards to discard for its effect. And I also run 3 UA Mighty Slugger. This one is one you want to attack with. You can special summon it from your hand by returning a UA monster you control to the hand except for Mighty Slugger, and you can only special summon Mighty Slugger once per turn this way. If this card attacks, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects until the end of damage step. So it's basically like an Armades being able to swing into your opponent and not having anything activate until the end of damage step. So you don't really have to worry about any kind of traps or things like that. So very, very good just to get this card out. And then, like I said, after the attack, return it to your hand for cards that would be more reliant on your opponent's turn, of course. And I also run 3 UA Dreadnought Dunker. You have the same special summon effect for the UA bounce to your hand, and the same restriction for the special summon. If it attacks a defense monster, inflict battle damage to your opponent, and when this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can target 1 card on the field, destroy it. So the fact that it has 2500 attack and just that piercing means you're pretty guaranteed to inflict them with damage, then have that destruction effect. So very, very important one for sure. It's a level 7, so a little more hard to get out on the field, except obviously for the special summon, which is most of the time the main way I do get out the UA monsters. So just remember that when summoning out this card. And then lastly, for the UA monsters, I run 2 UA Blockbacker. You can special summon this card from your hand by returning 1 UA monster you control to the hand except UA Blockbacker. You can only special summon Blockbacker once per turn this way, and once per turn when your opponent special summons a monster, you can change their battle position. If you do, negate their effects. Now with linked monsters, it's a little more difficult to make use of this card, but depending on the type of decks you go up against, I still find it quite reliable because they'll have linked monsters, but there should still be some other options to stop with this card, just as a more defensive one for sure, along with Perfect Ace. I'd say two of the best ones to have on the field during your opponent's turn, while Dunker and Slugger are ones you'll want to attack with, of course. So as long as you have your defense and offense perfectly divided, you should be good depending on which UAs you want to summon out on the field. Just remember that midfielder most of the time will be your main setup, since it's the one that you can easily normal summon out to the field. But for some of the other ones, if you don't end up getting midfielder quickly, I also run 3 junk forwards, even just going first. If you control no monsters, special summon this card from your hand. I run this card for the main point of tribute summoning out some of your other UAs much faster, whether it be Perfect Ace or Mighty Slugger. Just being able to summon this out and then have that option. Also, just being able to special summon this card out and then also normal summon midfielder gives us access to our Sold, which I also run in the deck, just as another potential play to go for, which we'll get to later on in the video as well. And then lastly, for the monsters, I run 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, just hand trap power, much more easier to gain access to this card as well with the Salmon Great Structure decks. So like I said, now I'm going to be running this card more and more in the deck profiles for sure. But if you don't have Ash Blossoms, Ghost Ogre, Effect Veiler, you name it, hand trap option, just really like it as a more defensive play as well come your opponent's turn. And that is it for the monsters. We'll now move on to the spells. One of the most important spells in the deck is UA Stadium. If a UA monster is normal summon to your side of the field, you can add 1 UA monster from your deck to your hand. And once per turn, if a UA monster is special summoned to your side of the field, all monsters you currently control gain 500 attack even if this card leaves the field. So it's another reason I like the junk forward play just with the tribute for the normal summon, because you'll get that search and then you can obviously bounce them back for special summons, bumping up your monsters, which if you can get, Dreadnought Dunker or Mighty Slugger up in attack points, it's just all the more powerful against your opponent for sure. And I also run 3 UA Powered Jersey. Being an equip spell just makes it all the more useful with your Isolde that you run in the deck, if you need to resort to that play, of course. But Powered Jersey on its own is a very powerful equip spell. You equip only to a UA monster, it gains 1000 attack and defense. Also, if it battles an opponent's monster, any battle damage it inflicts to your opponent is doubled. If the equipped monster destroys a monster by its attack, it can make a second attack during the battle phase, and during your standby phase, banish the equipped monster. If this card is sent to the graveyard because of the equipped monster, return it to the hand, and you can return this card to the hand. You have so much potential offensive power with Powered Jersey. It's a definite 3 of just being able to bump up your UAs along with the power of the field spell as well. You really can't go wrong comboing all these spells together. And just for easier special summon power, we also have UA Signing Deal, which I also run 3 of. You special summon 1 UA monster from your deck, but its effects are negated. Also, it cannot be used as a synchro or exceed material for a summon. Then you lose life points equal to the level of the monster you special summon by this effect times 300. You can only activate 1 Signing Deal per turn, but it says you can't synchro or exceed. You're not limited to link summon, of course. So remember that with this card. Very, very helpful for sure with that fact. And you don't really spend life for anything else in the deck, so the burn you take for the lose life with its level is not really the end of the world depending on your play. And I also run 3 Foolish Burial Goods. This is for the trap card UA penalty box, which we'll get to when we get to traps, but just sending it is very key for some of your searches, so definitely 3 of to run for sure in the deck. And I also run 2 Terraforming just to search out the field spell. Much easier with your search options for sure, just having the 2 Terraforming in the deck as well. And I also run 1 Reinforcements in the army. We already talked about before. Midfielder wants to be your main search most of the time to go for, since it sets up so many of your plays along with Stadium for sure. And lastly, for the spells, I run 1 Divine Sword Phoenix Blade and 1 Moon Mirror Shield. These are more cards just to have a good number of equip spells to run with Isolde in the deck if you want to go for that play, of course. If you just want to rely on Power Jersey alone as just the equip spell it was meant to be, you can take out the Moon Mirror Shield and the Phoenix Blade and put in 2 Call by the Graves instead, just as a more generic spell lineup That's only if, of course, you didn't want to try the Isolde play in the deck. But with all the UAs being warrior monsters, it's a very easy play to use. And then, sending all 5 of the equip spells does give you monster access, or if you don't send all of them, you can even get out midfielder to the field. And that is it for the spells. For the traps, I just run 3 UA penalty box, a very, difficult card for your opponent to get over. At the start of damage step, if your UA monster battles an opponent's monster, you can banish that opponent's monster until your opponent's second end phase. You can only use this effect of penalty box once per turn, and you can banish this card from your graveyard to add 1 UA spell card from your deck to your hand. So 3 Foolish Burial Goods, along with this card being very, very good on the field. Being able to send this with Foolish Burial Goods and then, add the UA spell you need with all the access you have with the different ones, it's just all that helpful for sure. We have so many different search options, whether it be Power Jersey, Signing Deal, or Stadium. This trap card is definitely helpful for those searches, and it's definitely why I recommend running 3 of it in the deck. And that is it for the main deck. When I move on to the extra, I run 2 Mrs. Radiant. The majority of the monsters you run in the deck are Earth monsters, aside from Ash Blossom, so just another powerhouse Link monster you can go for, with Signing Deal being that special summon. Being able to make Link monsters, especially Link 2s, is all the easier for sure. I also run the Isolde. This is just, like I said, a very, very good card with the warriors in the deck and the equip spells we run for that option if you need it, of course. If you just want that search and special summon, with Signing Deal being a thing, and then just being able to normal summon one of your other ones, making the Link summon, or just having junk forward for that warrior play, sending the equip spells, and then being able to get out a bigger monster. Definitely very, very helpful for all your warrior monsters in the deck. And I also run 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Nightmare Cerberus, 1 Nightmare, not Nightmare Sorceress, Summon Sorceress, and for the bigger Link monsters, 1 Yugioh and 1 Borreload. When you make them, it's good, but most of the time I end up just going into Isolde or Mrs. Radiant for the power boost plays that work very, very well with the field spell, and we already talked about Isolde plenty enough in the video. And then for the Exceed monsters, just a little generic Exceed support, I run 1 Evil Swarm Exciton Knight, 1 number 39 Utopia and Utopia the Lightning, and I also run 1 Tornado Dragon, 1 Baguska, and then for some rank 5 and 6 plays, when you can make them, I run 1 Wind Up Arsenal Zenmao and 1 Photon Strike Bouncer. If you don't want to run Zenmao, you can try out Volcasaurus, just for the back row pressure. This that can be a threat against you with your big UA attacks. I like Zenmao, just being able to take care of that back row, just for the rank up, not rank up, but for the rank 5 Exceed play you can go for. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Like I said, I was definitely excited to finally get around to making the UA deck. Definitely look into building FAs as well if you all want to see that deck profile. For sure, just let me know, and I'll definitely look into it. But until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.